So slope is dealing with two things. It's dealing with your rise and your run. So your vertical change is your rise. It's how much you're going up or down. It is your y value. Pos is up, negative is down. Then you have your horizontal change. That's left to right. That's going to be your x value. Okay, so for your x value, we call this your run. So running on a road, you're going distances, and then rising, going up or down. So it's pretty self-explanatory. So slope is rise over run. Notice that the sign of the slope indicates direction of the line. So it does not indicate magnitude. So you want to ignore your positive and negative signs. Okay. Ignore positive and negative signs for size. The positive and negative sign indicates direction. And you'll see what I mean by that in a second. So what we indicate here for direction is we're always talking about going from left to right, just like you read a book. So you read a graph or a grid like you read a book. So if I here have, look at A and B, those lines are opposites. As I move this line, from the left side of the grid to the right side, what's happening with line A? It's going up. Okay. Look at line B as I move from left to right. Line B is going down. And that's because A is a positive slope and B is a negative slope. Which one's steeper? Well, it looks to me like B is. Even though it's a negative slope, it's still steeper. Okay? So let's go and find the slopes. So looking at line A, to find the slope, you have to find 2 points on the line that touch the corner of the grid, like at the top right there. And as I go up down the line, there's lots of points. I'm going to pick this one right here. So what I do then is I go from left to right. I count. That is my run. How many squares did I count? How many? You count how many? I counted 1, 2, 3. So I moved 3 squares. Then I'm going to make a triangle and go up. How many squares do I have to count to go up? 6, and that is my rise. Hello. Guitar? Yeah. Guitar, miso. Oh. Okay. So that's our run and our rise. Okay. What kind of shape did we just make? Not what kind of specific triangle? Right triangle. Okay, you should always make that when you're doing slope. So for your slope, we call it rise over run. And you should write that down 1,000 times so it's memorized. For our rise, it was 6. Our run was 3. So we could put that in lowest terms. What is that in lowest terms? 2 over 1. And then, as a whole number, because this one works out perfectly, it would be 2. Okay? So we went 6 over 3, 2 over 1, which equals 2. Now we could pick any points on this line. Like, check this out. Why don't I pick this point here and this point up here? Now, what would be my run? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I'd have a run of 8. Any guess what my rise should be? 16. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So 16 over 8 also equals 2. It matches anywhere. Okay, but you got to be careful because sometimes it looks really close, but it's not good enough. Okay, for example, this line right here, this point is not one you could use. Okay, girls, pay attention. This one you could not use. Oh, it's okay. Keep talking. Go ahead. All right. So slope of line B. Find 2 points. Let's use this one right here and this one way down there. So let's counter our run. We go over until we're over top of it. How much did we run? 2. Now I want you to tell me how many are we going to rise? How many did we go up? We went up 6? That's going to be way up here. I don't think we went up 6. Since we're actually going down, it's going to be a negative number. So we have to count down, giving us a negative 6. So our slope, rise over run, equals negative 6 over 2, which is what? Lowest terms. Negative 3. Okay? So which line's steeper, A or B? Looking at your numbers, we have negative 3 and 2. Which line's steeper? Line A is 2, and line B is negative 3. Who says A? Hands up. Who wants to go back and read this again? Ignore the negative sign. So which one's steeper? B is steeper because you ignore the negative sign. Okay, so ignore the negative sign. Good. Okay, slope of line C. So use this point here, and the other one that matches up perfectly would be this one right here. Go ahead, find that slope. Go. So count your run, going over, count your rise, going up. So I got a rise of 4 and a run of 6. Lowest terms, 2 over 3. You'll get fractions more than you'll get whole numbers. Okay, fractions are okay for slopes. Let's go back in line B. What if I wanted to go backwards? Say I took this point and I did my run first. I went to the left. If I counted left for my run, what kind of run would I have? Negative 2. I could then go up 6, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter because I could also have 6 over negative 2 still equals negative 3. Okay, so it doesn't matter which direction. What you got to keep in mind is this. If this is your point, if you count up, what kind of number is it? If you count down, what kind of number is it? If you count right, what kind of number is it? Just like your grid, if you count left, what kind of number is it? Negative. And that's what you got to keep in mind. It's just like your grid when you're counting. Okay? So we talked about positive slopes. Line A is a positive slope. It is going, the line is increasing when you're going from the left side of the page to the right side of the page. And line B is the opposite. It's a negative slope. So what's the line doing if it's opposite? Decreasing. Girls. Yeah. Decreasing left to right. Okay. Good. All right, here we go. A little practice. Find the slope of the lines on this grid to the right. Go. So for line A, find some points on the grid. Count your run, count your rise. Go. So for me, I got 3 over 3. Remember, it's always rise over run. And that equals what? 1. So you might have got 2 out of 2, 1 over 1, or 6 over 6. That's fine. It always equals 1 as a final answer. Okay. For line B, I would use this point here and this point right here. So I go up 2 over 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 over 8, which is the slope of 1 over 4. Okay, so some people might have got 1 over 4 right away. I use 2 and 8. Okay. Line C then, I would use, tough one. This one for sure, and this one for sure. Oh, I have to count down. So I count -7 over 2, rise over run. Now you could have wrote it as 7 over -2, or you could have wrote it as a negative sign in front and then 2 positive numbers. Either one of those is fine. Devinder, yep.
C isn't the 4 supposed to be the bottom? That'd be top.
C, the 4? You mean 7? Or you're talking B?
Like C.
Line C. It's not on the corner of the grid here or there, though. It's off a little bit.
Isn't it supposed to be like rise over run? So it's for the rise?
No, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 as my -7 as the rise, run of 2.
I meant B.
Okay, that's what I thought. B. Let's see. B, 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 B. No, rise is the small number right here. So it should be 1 over 4. Okay. Good. Okay, now D is a special line. So for D, here's 2 points. What's the rise of those 2 points? 0. What's the run? 1. Let's leave it and go back to it. Look at the next one, E. What's the rise for E? Let's use these 2 points. What's the rise? 1. What's the run? 0. Go to your calculator now. Okay. What's 0 divided by 1? 0. Okay. This is a horizontal line. Okay. It's easy to run on a slope of 0. But what about that other one? 1 divided by 0? Ooh, you guys probably got error, math error, syntax error. It's because, look at my calculator, it even tells me cannot divide by 0. So we say null set, which means no answer. Or you can also see sometimes the word undefined. You should be able to answer either of those. Okay, null set or undefined. Okay, good. Good. So what we're going to do now, for any questions about those two? Those are special cases, aren't they? Yep, Harla? For which line? Oh, D. Oh, we're not talking about the equation of the line, though. We're talking about slope. For the equation line, you're right. That's the equation. That's really weird, right? So, and that's because the slopes are really weird. Okay, so here for this part, we're just saying what's the slope. Okay? Okay, so star this. You'll see that on a quiz, you'll see it on a test. I guarantee you it is a classic. So first thing you want to do, number one, is plot the point. Number two, you want to count using the slope.
Good morning. Just like to thank our grade 9 and
when you're counting using the slope, you have to assign your negative sign to the top or the bottom. Now remember, how to count is just like your grid. In other words, your positive x values go to the right, your negative x values go to the left. Your positive y's go up, and your negative y's go down. So a slope of negative 2 over 5, remember that's your y over x, rise over run. And so the negative 2 tells you to count which direction, up or down. A negative 2, down 2. And what about a positive 5 value for your run? Should you go right or left? Well, rights are positive, so you should go right 5. So what we do is we plot our point, negative 4, 3. So here's 0, 0, negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. Go up 3, 1, 2, 3, 4. So this is your starting point right there. Now you can count down 2. 1, 2, right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the next point on the line. Now do that again. Go. Do it again. Count down 2, right 5. All you're doing is counting. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again. Count down 2, right 5. So then you're probably going to be over here on this side of the grid. So don't do it. Erase that. Okay? But we got a problem. Because we can also assign the negative sign to the bottom. So, knowing that y is on top, x is on the bottom, which direction should you count? Figure that out now. Go. So plus 2, what does that mean? Up 2. What does a negative 5 mean? Left 5. So if you go to your original point, to remind you, it's right here. That's your original point. So you put your pencil on that point and then count again. So this time you're going to count up. So I count up 2, and now I go left, the opposite direction. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So what should I do now that I have all those points? You should make a line that goes through them from one side of the grid all the way through to the other side of the grid. Okay. So your point should go from one side all the way to the, so your line should go one side to the other. This is super duper important. Put a big box around it. Okay. That's close enough. Put a thingamajigger around it. There you go. The technical shape. Yeah, put a shape around it. Okay? Good. Turn it over. So, find the slope of the line. When you're doing this, do not measure here. What you want to measure is your rise, and you want to measure your run. Find a ruler. Someone do it, please. So what is it? Rise is 21. And the run is about 42. Is that right? You guys measure it. Let's go. We'll wait. Okay. What's the run? Lowest terms. Go. Okay. So divide by 2 and get 10 over 21. Lowest terms. Okay. One thing to note. For actual objects, they always have a positive slope. So when the plumber goes into your house, he doesn't try and find the left and the right. He just puts the pipe in your house with a slope of 3 over 4. Okay, a drop of 3 for 4 inches. So he doesn't say, oh, it's negative because we're going from left to right. He just puts in the pipe. Well, exactly. That's why it's always, you ignore your negative signs and your positive signs. It's just the slope. Always have a positive house. Wow, that's like crazy. Always have a positive slope. Woo! So I'm thinking, wow. Welcome to Friday. Yeehaw, here we go. So next, now we don't have any lines, we just have points. So we have a little formula. This will always be given to you on your formula sheet. Quiet. For some reason, they use the letter M for slope. I have no idea why. If you can find out, let me know. But the slope, they use the letter M. What we do, if you can close that door, that'd be awesome. We line up one point and subtract the other. Okay? Plumber, pay attention. So, here's my blue, there's my red. I write down the formula. M equals. And I take 4, and if 4 is on top, what must be below 4? No. It must be the other point, the x value, 3. Okay, that's super important to line it up properly. And then I subtract. What must be on the top here? Which is the y value from the blue point? And what must be underneath 6? 2. Now, what if I did this different? Okay, find the answer. Go. Now, I'll tell you in a second. Find the answer. 4 minus 2, negative 2. 3 minus 2, 1. That equals negative 2. What if, though, you did this? M equals 6 over 2. And then you went minus 4 minus 3. Well, up top, 6 minus 4 gives you a positive 2. Oh, is it wrong? Because what does the bottom give you? Negative 1. So you'll still get the same answer as long as you have one point on top of each other. So the values are on top of each other. Okay, let's try the next one. M equals, I put 19 here. What must go underneath? Oh, no, I don't want that. I want 17 there. What must go underneath 17? 3. Okay. Then I subtract. What must go over here? Negative 19. No, who said negative? Positive 19. What must go underneath 19? Negative 5. And this is where you're going to screw up. Check right now that right now you have 2 negative signs like I do. You must have 2 negative signs there. Okay, you're minusing a negative. Now to subtract properly then, it'd be 17 minus 19 and 3 plus 5. Okay, and you get negative 2 over 8, which is negative 1/4. Okay. Let's do the next one by yourself. But let's put -9 at the start. Go ahead, show your work. Okay, so -6. And the other point value is -5 and -3. So I always rewrite this because I like to get everything perfect, except for simple mistakes like house and slope. Add them up, I get -4 on top, -3 on the bottom. That will give you half marks. Why? Because two negative signs equal a positive final answer. So you must show me you know how to do that. Okay? So never have two negative signs, folks. Okay, do the next three by yourself. Let's start though here with 19. Here we'll start with 7. And you do the last one all by yourself. Be careful with the last two. You might want to turn your page over to find the correct answer. Sorry? That's right. Do your math and then look on the previous page. Or use your calculator. Okay, so 0 over 10. What's your final answer? 0. Okay, so go to your calculator and check it. 0, right? 0 divided by 10. Yeah, that's 0. But what about 6 divided by 0? Right? Try on your calculator. 6 divided by 0. Cannot divide by 0. So you can put your null set, or you have to write undefined. Okay. So you should be able to answer both of those because you don't know what you're going to get on multiple choice test, right? Questions? Yep. Then you would have run over rise, which is wrong. Okay. So this one here, what kind of line is this one? This is a vertical line, and the other one is a horizontal line. Okay, you should be able to recognize that from your y values and your x values. If in doubt, just graph it out. Okay, next one, m equals 3. That equals rise over run. So it would be 3 over 1. And remember, that's your y and your x value, your changes. So what this means is that if you change x by +1, then y changes by how much? +3. Okay. So if we start with 4 and -7, to find another point, we just have to go +1 +3. What's the next point? 4 plus 1 is? -7 plus 3? -4. So then we can do the same change to this point. It's just like we're counting. What's the next point? 6, -1. Okay. However, guess what? We could also have the slope as of 3. What else could that equal? Not 3 over 1, but -3 over -1. So this means for our change If x changes by -1, y changes by -3. So we can start at the same point and go in the other direction. So now we'll go -1, -3. And what's our next point going to be? 3, comma, -10. Okay. Do the so my x value changes by -1, my y value changes by -3, and so I'm at 2, -13. Okay. Any questions? Star that one. We love that question too. Just knowing that they're changes. You just have to add or subtract your slope. Okay. Okay, plumber installs the drain pipes. They need a drop of 1 inch for every 2 feet. So there's your drop. This is your rise. And this is your run. What's the problem? What about, look at your units. Are they the same? No. So what should we change? Yeah, 2 feet equals how many inches? 24 inches. Okay. So what we can say then is we have rise over run as our slope. So we have 1 over 24. And 36 inches would be the run. So that would be on the bottom. And we have to figure out x. How much should he drop or go up, depending on which way you start, right? So the math, instead of dividing by 36, what should you do? Bring it up and times by 36. So we have 1 times 36 divided by 24 equals x. So really it's 36 divided by 24 equals x. Go to your calculator. What does x equal? 1.5. And what are you going to write down? The drop is 1.5 inches. Hi, Jimmy. So we go from a decimal to a fraction. Now, the textbook might not do that, but that's the perfect ideal situation. Okay. Any questions? Okay. Next one. This is another classic one, which is a little challenging. So we have 2 points. We can make up our slope equation. M equals y2 minus y1 and x2 minus x1. So what we want to start with is the slope is -2. Okay. y2, let's make that, and the other thing I like to do is I like to write it this way because you guys are more used to seeing that. So I just kind of flip it. All right, just move it on the other side of the equal sign. So we'll go y, 3's on the bottom, and what's the other point? Write that in, please. So there should be an 8 and a -5. So we can rewrite that as y minus 8 over 3 plus 5 equals -2. We can rewrite that as y minus 8 over 8 equals -2. Instead of dividing by 8, what should we do? Bring it up and times by -8. So y minus 8 equals -16. Oh, now what should we do? Add 8 to both sides. So y equals -16 plus 8, -8. Okay. That's probably one of the easiest ways of doing it. Any questions? Now you could also, I'll just show you in green, you could also say y minus 8 over 8 equals 2 over 1. And you kind of may guess and check if you're really stuck. Okay, but I don't really recommend that. But just to let, oh, that's -2 over 1, by the way. Okay.